This one is a total exception, and it really is a museum piece. This was the time period when luxury really meant something. You still see a bunch of them everywhere. I say they kind of do everything really well. Bring back the soul and the passion. Hey everyone, and welcome back to DC MotorWerks. My name is Cameron, and if you're new to the channel, thank you for tuning in. But today we have brought you something a little different from our normal exotic and Mercedes and Merginis, and we're still trying to come up with a good name for that. But we have brought you a first generation Dodge Durango. So if you're familiar with us, DC actually stands for the era in which Andy and I both started working on the Mercedes and so forth, and that is the Daimler Chrysler era. And this is part of that also. I'm a big Mopar fan myself, so we found this museum piece and just I couldn't just not let it come to me, because this is a 2001 Dodge Durango SLT Plus 4-wheel drive. But the best part about it is a one owner with 56,000 original miles. A lot of us will remember these from being kids and so forth. They always had the really cool like baby semi look on the front end. None of them were preserved. So this is really exciting to see. You know, they were family vehicles, kind of like when we talk about our Sequoias and stuff like that. They're nostalgic to our childhood, and they were all used, abused, have tons of miles on them. And this one is a total exception, and it really is a museum piece. How you see it here is pretty much how we got it. It didn't even really need any detailing. It's just that clean. But we'll go ahead and walk you around here and just show you that. And you can see, hopefully, in this bright afternoon sun, just how beautiful that paint is. And I think it's one of the best colors. I love like a pewter, you know, kind of color, especially with all that metallic flake. And you can even see how much metallic flake is in the wheels. It is just, again, it just blows my mind to look at this, especially even if you look at the door handles. They are still a nice deep black. They have not turned gray from the sun over the years. Same with the running boards. It just goes to show you that it is a very nice garage kept vehicle. And you can kind of come down the side. I mean, there's not really a scratch or a ding or anything to talk about. You got a little bit of a scuff there, but that would probably polish out. Like I said, we didn't do anything crazy for detailing on this one. You can see we've even got our original hitch with a Ram logo cover in there. I don't think this has actually ever been off, so pretty exciting there. Of course, the obligatory DC MotorWerks tag. Also here, a lot of these emblems used to peel as they get older, and this one just looks great. And I always thought this was a beautiful body style of the Durango. Mopar, Chrysler, whatever you want to call them back in these days, really had some good looking and great cars. So this one is a 2001, so this is kind of middle of the model run. They ran this body style through 2003. But this one is a fully loaded SLT Plus model. So it has heated leather seats and all the kind of niceties that were the normal of the time period. But this one is equipped with the 4.7 liter V8, my favorite, because it also has the better transmission instead of the older transmission that came with the 5.2s and 5.9s and even the 3.9 6-cylinder. So reliable transmission, great engine. I know it does get a little bit of a bad rap, but that's only if you overheat it and don't change the oil. So if you take care of your stuff, they're easy 350, 400,000 mile motors. And speaking of motors, I will go ahead and show you that, because this was a all new and total departure from Mopar engines of the past, because the 4.7 is a single overhead cam design coming from their old cam and block LA based motors, which are the 318 and the 360 that everyone's familiar with, or the 5.2 and 5.9, depending on which measurement you like to use. And with it being a Dodge, they call it the Magnum, but it originally premiered in the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the WJ, which I used to have. If you want to watch that video up there, I think I have one. They called it the Power Tech in that generation. But this is the base form of it, which made 235 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. So not as quite of a torque monster as the 5.2 and 5.9. Like I said, you get the better transmission. This is the 45 RFE, and you can actually reflash that to a 545 RFE and get an extra overdrive gear. But compared to the 46 REs and the 42 REs of the past, these actually work. You don't have to change them every 30,000 miles and so forth. Like I said, best thing about these engines, they go forever. Just change the oil, don't overheat it. But beyond that, they're great. They make great mid-range power, which is kind of what I like about this one. You know, that can actually rev, whereas the LA-based motors get kind of wheezy at high RPM. But if you look in here, it's even got its original belt on it, which you know, probably wouldn't hurt to replace, but it is in great shape, no crazy cracking. You can see it says 4.7 liter Mopar on there. Everything is just super tidy. I said this isn't even super clean. I apologize. We did not really clean the engine bay, but we will before it goes to its new home. But I did really enjoy this one in its natural condition. Since we're shutting this, we'll go ahead and show you a quick cold start that we did right before we moved over here. So like I said, this is a one-owner vehicle, and it is from California, so it is totally rust-free underneath and very nice. You can tell by the front plate bracket there that it is a California car. Not that other states don't do that, but one of the telltale signs. We actually had the original license plates on this when it showed up. But we took a bunch of pictures of this one really for my memory, and it shows the beauty of this a little better. It's gotten a little dusty in the couple days since it was last cleaned and photos were taken. But let's go ahead and come around this side, and we'll show you stepping back into this time capsule of the early 2000s. Because like I said, this being a 2001 meant that it was most likely delivered in the 2000 year. If you look on the door jamb here on the driver's door, there you go. Oh, it's a late one, so it's February of 2001. So this was actually a late 2001. Surprised it's not a 2002, but nonetheless, there it is. And this is, like I said, best color combination to me, the pewter over black. Although I do like the tan interior of this vintage Durango as well. And like I said, this one being an SLT Plus is not quite the luxury of what we're used to today, but it was everything you could get back in that time period. Same thing on the back seat. I don't think anyone ever sat back here, and this is also one of the best things about the first generation Durango compared to like the Grand Cherokee I owned, is that it is a third row vehicle. So if you peek back there, it has a third row and it actually has space. So that's super exciting. And you still get a little bit of cargo area behind it. If we come around here, no crazy power tailgates, it's just a simpler time. But you still get a good amount of space back here considering for a, this isn't the full-size SUV. You know, this was more of a mid-size, but still retained a third row, which is kind of what I prefer. Like in my XC90, I know if you've been a subscriber for a while, you'll know what I'm talking about with some of these cars. And if you haven't, subscribe and watch more videos. But I like the smaller SUV for drivability, but with the third row, it is really tough to beat the usability, because it is always nice just having those couple extra seats. So let's go ahead and step into the time capsule in these nice cushy leather seats and go for a ride. Come on in. Look at this nice cushy soft leather seat. This was the time period when luxury really meant something. And then of course you got the nice Ram crest on the seat back. These are some of my favorite seats. They are so comfortable. So here we have our heated seats, just nice simple two-stage, high and low. So this was an option in later Durangos with the SLT Plus package. And just simple in here, you know, these were just meant for family transportation and so forth. But this one is everything that you got. So you got power windows, mirrors, locks. You got dual zone climate control, which was a big deal back in this time period. And you also do have rear air. And of course this one is four-wheel drive, and it's fully electronic, which was in the 2001 to 2003 you got the electronic four-wheel drive, whereas the pre 2000 and older, they got just a little mechanical shifter on the floor, which both are great. You also have cruise control and steering wheel audio controls, and I think Mopar did some of the best with steering wheel audio controls because they're right here at your fingertips there. So you get your cruise all here. You can see just how nice the lettering and everything is. Nothing is worn. It is just amazing. And there you can see the 56,349 miles. But back here you get, this is your volume control. And then on the left side, you have the same set of buttons. And the up down is like your radio seek or changing your track. And then these are your, one's mode. Yep, so that is the mode control. And then the other one, the center button, is your preset control. So all the radio controls you could ask for right on the steering wheel. This one is the column shift. I love a column shifter because it frees up all your space down in here. You got 3 massive cup holders, great storage. And Mopars of this time period had like the smoothest column shifters. If you just look here, just a couple fingers, and you can pull it into gear, and it just has such a great feel. And with this being an SUV of yesteryear, this is a body on frame live axle. So no independent suspension, no unibody, but still the ride on these is just, it's really hard to believe how nice they were and that we really haven't improved that much since then. And even with it being a 4-wheel drive, and no, it is not all-wheel drive. This is a 4-wheel drive system for, you know, slippery or off-road use, but it is shift on the fly, so you can just turn it on while you're driving. Only thing you kind of will hear here are the tires. They are a all-terrain design, and they're in great shape, but they kind of make a little more noise, which you may hear in the background. So we'll see what the next owner wants to do with those. They do look good. I think the exterior look of this Durango is everything I'd want out of one of these. Here you can see you've got your old school, the I don't know what you call them, but the Mopar radios of this time period all had the curved edges. And I always liked that they had the frequency control sliders here. Some of them actually had a 5-band frequency back in like the some of the 80s, 90s stuff. This one's just 3-band. This is the Infinity Gold sound system. You can see Infinity with a Y. It is a little different. These were great systems. Chrysler really did some nice sound systems back in the day. I know my Jeep one was really nice, that to the point I didn't even do any upgrades to it. It was a factory amplified system. All you do is remove the CD changer plug if you have one, and you can put in like a Bluetooth or a auxiliary module, and then everything works. Because in this time period, you know, no aftermarket radio really has this shape. So I like to leave the factory ones in place. But here, going down the road, we're doing like 45 miles an hour. It's locked into overdrive at about 1,300 RPM, and it is happy as can be. I mean, there's no crazy wind noise or anything like that. Nice V8 sound note from the 4.7. And like I said, it has great mid-range power, which is great for towing and passing. Is that if you really put your foot into it, it has a good amount of power. That like I said, 2001, you get 235 horsepower. This is a pretty strong number. This engine won Engine of the Year, I think, multiple times, and was a like I said, a real leap forward for Mopar in this time period. And it is a super simple engine. It's easy to work on, and they don't really have any crazy inherent faults. Like I said, just don't overheat it and change the oil. I'm gonna say that again, I promise you, because these got a bad reputation in their time period because they would either low head gaskets or drop valve seats, which is from overheating it. And sometimes they'd have like sludging issues, and that's because people wouldn't change the oil. These really like a 3,000 to 5,000 mile oil change interval, whereas I think some of the factory intervals were like 7,500 miles. If you've seen some of my other videos, I have owned 2 Dakotas, which is the stablemate of the Durango, just as a pickup truck instead of an SUV. With this engine, both mine were manual transmissions, but we've also got a shop truck with an automatic. Both of mine ended up with over 250,000 miles before they went to their new owners, and still, they just do everything you ask them to. You tow it, you know, they actually get pretty good fuel economy with 2-wheel drive. The 4-wheel drives are a little rougher on fuel, but I could still get 20, 21 miles to the gallon out of mine. And these are gonna be somewhere more around mid-high teens, which still for the time period was not bad. We don't do much better on some of the bigger SUVs from today. Hopefully this comes through on camera, but we'll do a little bit of an acceleration run here. You can see just how smooth this accelerates. just like that, we're up to 60 miles an hour. And these Chrysler transmissions back in the day, they were so smooth. And that was kind of the killer of transmissions back in the day. But when they came out with the 45 RFE, like I said, it was a lot more reliable and can go 200,000-300,000 miles with regular services. Because that is one of the most important things. Service your car, people. Even if the manufacturer tells you not to or gives you a long interval, do it in like half. And it's cheap insurance. So take care of your stuff and it'll take care of you. You can also have a look, if you see in the center of the base of the windshield, still has its original glass. I don't see a nick in it at all. No, because a lot of times you get road rash on them too. They get the little pits and stuff, but it's just nothing. It's just like they drove it to the store and back. Got your sunglasses holder, your garage door opener. Those were a big deal back in the day. A lot of times you just had like a push button where you'd put your opener in here and then push your garage door opener through a button. But, these were the integrated home link systems. And here, hopefully you can hear, or probably not hear, just how tight and well built these were. There's no creaks, there's no rattles. Everything here is nice and solid. This was their first foray into a family SUV for Dodge back in this time period. So they really knocked it out of the park and wanted something that was going to be super competitive. And as a kid, I remember a lot of families and friends that had these, and you still see a bunch of them everywhere, which just kind of attests to that they're easy to keep running and easy to maintain and not expensive to fix, that they still stay on the road all these years later. And here, sitting at this red light, you can see the sweet luxury of your fake wood paneling. Again, part of the SLT Plus package. So if you want a little something nicer, back in the day, you got your Grand Cherokee, but that did not come with a third row. Jeep did not offer anything with a third row until later in the 2000s with the Commander. So this was your option if you didn't want a minivan, which I love minivans. They're great for families. I think they're the best option. But if you have a boat or something like that and you need to tow once in a while or whichever, they are great for that. And these are actually pretty good off-roaders as well. They kind of do everything really well. They ride nice, they're quiet, they're well built, they're super comfortable. That's probably the best part to me. Like I've said time and time again, with how complicated and expensive cars are these days, a lot of us have really kind of regained appreciation from, especially this time period, the early mid-2000s, when cars were better built, more reliable, but still, compared to today, how much simpler they are and easy to fix, and parts are available, and it's just a time period that has really become appreciated as we move into the more modern era with electrics and direct injection and all the stuff that us as shop owners kind of struggle with on a day-to-day basis, and struggle with our clients with on how expensive they can be to fix. Is that these, it's just port injection, simple, get in, fire it up, parts are everywhere, and it's just something to really appreciate. So if you're like me and you like the simplicity and you work on cars all day and you don't want to do it on your own cars, or just you kind of like this simpler time period, I keep saying this over and over again, I apologize, but it is true. A lot of our clients and customers, whatever you want to call them, friends even, and so forth, they are holding on to their older cars like anything from the mid-2000s and some of the early 2010s as well, because of this reason. They're simple, it doesn't require a PhD to work all the computer screens and everything. There's not really any distractions, and they're just comfortable, easy to drive. Nothing really focuses on this what this car kind of caters to anymore. Everything has to be sporty and perform well, and all the motor trend tests and all that stuff. And this car was not meant for that, or this SUV. It was meant to do all the family hauling duty, tow the boat, whatever you needed it to do, tow a camper, and hold, I guess it's a 7-passenger. All the while, you get V8 power. Fuel economy is a little bit of a sacrifice, but it's kind of the way everything was back in this time period. Every SUV pretty much had a big V8. So no twin turbo, high-strung powertrains, just a big, simple V8. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, Simple, easy to fix, reliable, can do it all, do it in comfort. This is really something that you would appreciate. And again, this one is equipped with 4-wheel drive and very low miles, so there's tons of life left in this. Like even driving it now, I'm scared for anything to happen to it because it is so nice. But, you know, cars are meant to be used. I've talked about this in many of my other videos. Now it's all about feel, the way that makes you feel and the engagement a car gives you. Because all we drive now are just A to B boxes. Bring back the soul and the passion. That's one of the best things also about older cars like this. If you watch some of the older commercials, they are pretty good. You know, they used to like drop a pickup truck on a bunch of rocks or something, or do crazy stuff like that. Or like when the Grand Cherokee debuted, they drove it through a glass window. And you know, cars or SUVs were meant to be brawny and, you know, do everything, and it was a lifestyle thing back in the day. Heading back to the shop here, we will showcase you the 4-wheel drive I keep talking about. I was actually pretty pleased with this 4-wheel drive system. It engaged very quickly, so pretty much as soon as you turn the dial, it starts doing its thing, which is good. You don't want to have to wait for it if you get on a slippery surface or something like that. So I will kick out cameraman, and he will go out and we will showcase some working 4-wheel drive. So here we are in 2-wheel drive. You see if I give the throttle a quick stab, just the rear wheels are turning. I'll just turn the switch once. And after a few moments, the 4-high light comes on. And if I give the throttle a punch here, we pull away in 4-wheel drive. And then turn around here. So here you can see, you can maybe tell that this is a locked 4-wheel drive system. That if I try to turn tightly, you can see the front and rear wheels kind of fighting each other. And that is because you need to have some slippage between the front and rear axles, and that's why this can only be used on slippery or loose surfaces. I'll bump into neutral, click it over to 4 low, and with a click, we're in 4 low. And you can see how fast we take off there with our, it's a 2.72 reduction for 4 low. 2 clicks of the switch and we are back in 2-wheel drive. A very simple but effective 4-wheel drive system. Yeah, we've even got a great turning radius. So there we are, a real blast from the past with the first generation 2001 Durango. I said probably one of the nicest ones in existence. You can see there even the original key and key fob with the nice Ram logo on there for tough. It's a Ram with some tough horns. But hope you all enjoyed this as much as I have. I think this is such a cool thing of something that we just won't see ever again. It's just these simple old body on frame, big brawny SUVs that are just simple old luxury and usability for pretty much everything you want it to do. And this one is for sale, so it is your opportunity to bid and buy this vehicle on BringATrailer if you're watching this video early enough, and if you're not, sorry you missed it, but keep an eye on our profile and our make sure you hit that subscribe button and that watch icon, or the bell icon, that's it, so that you'll never miss one of our super special vehicles that we like to bring to y'all. Just look at that shiny paint, the shiny wheels, it really is something super special. So if you liked it, like I said, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.